This is the Louie T Network. Hey, either you're outside or you're
in the lab room.
Who else could it be? Me, your man. Louie T, welcome. You are in the lab room. Of course, I am your host, Lou. Thank you for joining me. Week number 17 in the National Football League. Green Bay Packers at home hosting the Detroit Lions. This is what the NFL schedule makers had in mind when they set up the format that every week 17 would square off family members. And it didn't get much better than this. Division on the line, two 11-4 football teams duking it out. The class potentially of the NFC, both teams have been extremely consistent all season long. Stands for a slow start for this Packers team to the season, but they've been outstanding for the majority of the season. Have not lost all year at Lambeau, which led me and probably everybody else to believe that it was going to be tough for the Detroit Lions to go into Lambeau and win this game. I really didn't give Detroit much of any shot to win this game. Haven't won in Green Bay in forever. I mean, you got to go back to the early 90s when this division was called the NFC Central. Remember those days? Barry Sanders, Herman Moore, Wayne Fontes as the head coach. I miss those days. But so do Lions fans who haven't seen this team win in Green Bay in an eternity. So this would be a great time to break that streak, as you could win the division, get yourself potentially a bye week, host a home playoff game. A lot of things go into winning the division. You lose this game, you end up the 6th seed in the NFC. And actually, it might not be the worst thing in the world, but the Dallas Cowboys are playing hot football right now, and you'd have to go to Dallas. They're not the best home team in the league, so maybe you'll have a chance to go in there and sneak one. But again, you want to win the division. You want to give yourself a chance to skip wild card weekend. You want to give yourself a chance to lick some wounds. If you're the Lions, you'd love to get Nick Fairley back. An extra week would help you in that regard. If you're the Packers, Aaron Rodgers tweaked a calf muscle last week. You'd love for him to get an extra week off and get all the treatment he needs to be at full strength come playoff time. So everybody could use some time off. Everybody could use a week off. So this is a big game for both teams involved. I just felt like the only way the Lions could win is if the Packers had their worst game of the season or Aaron Rodgers goes down. If 12 goes down, all of a sudden all bets are off. The game changes. But who was thinking about it not being a beautiful day in the neighborhood? At least I wasn't. You know, I thought Rodgers would come in a little sore from the calf tweak a week ago. They're going to try to keep him in the pocket, maybe run the football. Defense will do enough. I've already stated how I feel about Matthew Stafford. I'll talk about him here in a second, but I thought that the Packers came out with a really good game plan in this game. Hey, let's run Eddie Lacy. Let's run James Starks. Let's run the football, period. I know it's almost like banging your head against a brick wall against this Lions defense because they stopped the run, best in the league in stopping the run all season long. But you got to establish the run because we don't want Rodgers to having to drop back and throw it 35 times. This isn't the type of game we want to get into, especially with the calf injury. We want him to minimize the amount of throws that he has. We want him to be in the pocket. We don't want him having to escape and extend plays and having to maneuver and run around because, again, then you run the risk of him tweaking something. So let's run the football. Let's try to set up play action fake. Let's see if we can't get some easy throws and set it up so that the Lions can't pin their ears back and rush after Rodgers and potentially have him have to escape the pocket and tweak something. So that was the game plan going in. They move it down the field early, get inside the 5, have an opportunity to score. They go for it on 4th down. I didn't agree with going for it, but I saw teams being aggressive in Week 17. I really can't fault a coach for wanting to be aggressive that close to the end zone. You smell end zone, you smell touchdown. You don't want to settle for a field goal. Ravens did the same thing. They were denied by the Browns. Packers do the same thing. They were denied by the Lions. And I would have loved to have seen the Packers spread them out and try to throw it in. Again, from the 1-yard line, 2-yard line, doesn't matter. Lions are ironclad against the run. You tell them that it's 4th down and you're going to try to run. They're going to load up and it's going to be damn near impossible to get in on these boys, and they did that. They stopped them, and so turnover on downs, but they're able to hold the Lions down deep in their own territory, forced them to punt the football, and Micah Hyde is able to return the kick for a touchdown. Big mistake by the Lions and their punting unit, because again, you can't punt the football down the middle of the field. That's a no-no in this league, and the best punt returners will get you every single time you give them an opportunity with a middle return, because if you punt it down the middle of the field, they have a three-way go of it. They can go straight up the field, they can go to the left, or they can go to the right. It does not matter, because all options are available to them when you kick it down the middle. You much prefer to pin a guy against the sidelines and give him limited options and resources to try to return the kick. But Micah Hyde got a three-way go of it. He zigs, he zags, picks up some blocks, outruns the coverage into the end zone. It's 7-0 Packers. So the gamble of going for it on fourth down pays off. They didn't get in the end zone, but they were able to force the Lions to have to try to do something pinned up against their own end zone, and they forced them to punt the football, got the football back in great field position, and were able to score on the punt return. So 7-0 Packers. Then I felt like the Lions needed to do some extraordinary things in this game to win. You needed some turnovers, maybe some trickery, maybe an onside kick, maybe a fake punt, fake field goal, something to catch the Packers off guard, something that would give you maybe an extra possession or two, something that would put an extra 3 or 4 points on the board. You needed to be special in this game. And they didn't do anything special early on, but they did force Eddie Lacy to fumble the football. They did recover. So they did force a turnover. It would have been nice to generate an interception off of Rodgers, but again, got to get pressure on him. Got to get him off of his spot. They weren't able to do that for the most part of this game. But the scariest moment in the game came when Aaron Rodgers went down. If you're a Packers fan, you were holding your breath. If you're a Lions fan, you're like, hey, this is the break that we need. As he's scrambling out, and he re-aggravated the injury a few plays before he actually went down. He scrambled for about an 11-yard gain on a 2nd and 7. And he probably could have got another 4 or 5, maybe even 7 yards on the play had he been healthy. But because he was hampering and had that lingering calf injury, you could tell he was kind of favoring that leg. He went down on the slide, and he wasn't really the same after that. You could tell he was hobbling. He completed a long pass on a catch and run to Randall Cobb, and as he's going down the field and telling everybody, let's get on the ball, you can see him kind of limping, kind of a hitch in his giddy up trying to get down the field. So you already knew he was starting to feel the effects of that calf injury. Then he had to scramble out on a play right before he goes down. He had to scramble out on a play there to avoid the rush. Then the next play, he gets out of the pocket on the 3rd down, finds Randall Cobb in the end zone. As he's throwing him the football, he goes down in a heap, and you hold your breath. I'm holding my breath as a football fan. I don't want to see anything happen to the best quarterback in all of the National Football League. If you're a Packers fan, you're holding your breath because your season hinges upon 12 getting up and being able to continue in this football game, and furthermore, into the postseason. Again, even if you don't win this game, it's not the end of the world, but you need 12 if you're going to have any shot of doing anything this season. So he's slow to get up. He's helped off by the training staff. They ended up taking him off on a cart. It's 14-0 at this point. Now I'm thinking, can the Packers hold this Lions team at bay without the services of one A-Rod, Aaron Rodgers? Because again, who knows if he's coming back at this point. Seems like it's a long shot for him to return. He was obviously in pain. You don't want to risk it. And he had to get carted off. So I'm thinking the worst as far as him returning to this game. And so I'm thinking, hey, you need Matt Flynn to come in and just not screw this thing up. For the Lions, you got to be thinking, hey, this is our opportunity. We got to strike while the iron is hot. Whether he's coming back or not, we don't know if he's coming back. But while he's out, we need to take full advantage of him being out of this football game. And that they did. They went down the field, got their first points of the game. And Stafford, who I thought was very erratic early, I thought they had some opportunities. Golden Tate was open a couple of times. Ebron was open once. Johnson was open a couple of times on some 3rd downs. And he just missed. He was errant. He was high. He was low. He was off to the left, right. It's what you get from Matthew Stafford from time to time, which is why I think with all of this talent, you still feel like he leaves you wanting more. There's something left to be desired when Matthew Stafford is back there. And so with all this talent, you feel like you should be putting up, 27, 31 points, no questions asked. But, there's some times where you got to make that throw. And he just didn't do it early on in this game. But when Rodgers went down, it almost gave this team a spark. He starts getting hot, hits Golden Tate for a big gain. Then hits Calvin Johnson on a beautiful post route in the end zone. He used his big frame. Did heavens to Mugatron to get the Lions on the board at 14-7, right before the half. And so you're thinking to yourself, all right, don't know if Rodgers is coming back. After the half, we'll find out a lot more about his status. He doesn't return right out of the gate. And Lions are able to get the football after Flynn comes on the field, does nothing with it. And the Lions go right down the field, and they pick right up where they left off in the end of the first half with another touchdown to Helvons to Mugatron. Beautiful throw again by Stafford as he's able to beat Tramon Williams on the play. Johnson able to get his feet in the end zone on that fade route to the back of the end zone. Again, beautifully thrown football, only where Calvin Johnson could get his hands on it. It's now 14-all. And in my mind, I'm saying, wow, the game has taken a sharp U-turn. This thing is all knotted up. But the good thing for the Packers fans was that Aaron Rodgers had now come out. He was now kind of getting loose, had the helmet on. It looked like he was coming back. He had a conversation with McCarthy, so you could tell he was coming back into the game. And now the question was he going to be able to last, and how effective was he going to be? He answered those questions very quickly, coming into the game and taking his team right down the field and getting them in the end zone once again. And so that gave the Packers a 21-14 lead. And I thought that on that drive, Eddie Lacy was huge running the football. And then it gave them some avenues and some easy throws for Rodgers to hit. And he did what he has always done, be pinpoint accurate. I thought Richard Rodgers, your tight end, rookie out of Cal, he was exceptional in this game. Had a huge third down catch with a defender draped all over him. Uses his strong hands to pull the football, and thought he made some big catches in this game as well, especially on that drive to help them get down the field. So it's now 21-14. Packers are able to start ratcheting it up defensively. Joyke Bell puts the football on the ground, and so you have some mistakes. Leads to another Packers touchdown as Aaron Rodgers uses a quarterback sneak to get in from the 1-yard line. Don't know if I agree with that or not. Again, guys dealing with a bum, leg, and you don't want him to injure it on a quarterback sneak, but it gets in the end zone nonetheless. Makes it 28-14, and for all intents and purposes, I felt like that was it. I didn't see the Lions being able to come back from a 14-point deficit in the second half. And they couldn't make mistakes. That Joyke Bell fumble was back-breaking. Stafford ends up having a penalty in the end zone, tacks on a safety. Your final score ends up 20-30. Packers win the NFC North Division, clinch a first-round bye. Well needed. Rodgers definitely could use the time off. They're your number 2 seed in the NFC postseason. Meanwhile, Detroit falls to 11-5. They're your 6th seed. They'll be going to Dallas. That's a very favorable matchup for the Detroit Lions. We'll see what happens in that football game. We'll have much more coverage and a breakdown of that later on in the week. But look, it was going to be hard for them to come in here and get this win. They gave it a run. Rodgers goes down. They get the momentum. They tried to do it. Rodgers comes back. They lose the momentum. They lose the football game, and they make some mistakes. Can't make those type of mistakes on the road against a team you struggle with in the first place. So congratulations to the Green Bay Packers for winning the NFC North this season, and heck of a season by the Packers after the slow start to get the division. Meanwhile, for the Lions, you gave it a run, you had opportunities, had a tough stretch in the middle of the season where you lose at Arizona, at New England, and that basically did you in as far as you trying to win this division. And so it happens. It is what it is. You still are in the playoffs. You still have a great opportunity in front of you. Now you need the offense to step up, and you need the defense to continue to play lights out football. It's going to do it for Lions and Packers. I thank you for joining me. If it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here in the Lab Room. Come back and join me as we continue to break down week number 17 in the National Football League. See you in a bit.